cave. Warning, incoming cave.
Yeah, more fitting.
So as you can tell from that, we will be, if you have seen the series, if you're familiar with it, we will be talking about
Reboot.
which of course is a 1990s computer animated cartoon, like the first, basically.
The first ever. But what got this started was I was saying to these two, it's a better story than Flona could give you. Early censorship aside, like for season 1 and season 2, because those, BSNP, they made fun of that in the verse, like spelling out whites in the city that said "fuck you, BSNP," and then they just ended season two in all the ways they said they couldn't, like with a cliffhanger and so forth.
Yep. They almost got canceled too, twice.
Yeah. Just as a minor disclaimer, Iron Inquisitor and me started with season 2 because I think season 1 is very slow paced, and the censorship when it really gets on me. It's a whole different show, and none of us. Well, I've seen season 4, but none of these two went to season 4 because season 3 is the natural ending point. You know what I mean? It restored the system, had a big song and dance routine. The villains are defeated. That's an ending to me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It was a satisfying ending. I mean, I might go back and watch season 1 eventually. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah. What kickstarted this was, again, it's a show that I don't think Florence could give you. Season 3, where there's like a biker character shooting up people, and he has one eye, and he glows angry, and he's having a rematch with Satan, and the city burns. It's just cool.
It's like such 90s grunge, man, right?
Yeah, and despite what people say about the animation, I think it works in the world that they live in.
Yeah.
It does.
I mean, because it's supposed to be a world within computer networks, the internet. So it's serviceable, I think. Obviously, a virtual reality is not going to have the same rules and physics as ours.
Yeah. Also, another thing, I actually found out about this series through an old Schoolhouse Rock VHS because it showed a promo for, you know how they used to do those Saturday morning cartoon promos on ABC?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I only saw like 3-second clips of Reboot on it, but I was like, wow, this show looks good. I wonder what it is. And then years later, I found out about it through a Watch Mojo playlist, and then you brought it up again, and here I am. I watched most of the series.
Yeah, I remember those promos. They were just so cool.
How I found out about the series is, just researching stuff on, online, and I read about it somewhere in an article, and I was like, oh, cool.
And for all you younger whippersnappers out there who are fans of, let's say, Jimmy Neutron or Transformers Prime or Green Lantern the animated series or Clone Wars or whatever else, without Reboot, without the stones they laid, you would not have any of that. It's the first. They did it. Even for Toy Story.
And funny thing is, the same people who worked on this, they made the Dire Straits Money for Nothing music video.
And Transformers Beast Wars.
And they also did the CGI for the Stargate television series.
Yeah,
both of them.
They did the effects. What I like is how in season 3 there's like all these comic writers, Len Wein, Marv Wolfman, Dan Didio, and a lot of comic writers could tell you, comic fans could tell you their opinions about those people, probably good or bad. That's the thing of how it works. But there's DC Fontana.
Oh, I recognize that name.
Yeah.
Speaking of comic books, it feels like one.
Yes. The Web Riders feels like some of the Tales of the Jedi. That was big back in the day for comic fans, with the Beast Riders of Onderon.
Yeah, that's interesting. Plus, what's interesting is Cursor in season 3 when Enzo met him. I just love how they basically did a complete thing with Star Wars and just gave him a yellow lightsaber.
Yeah, but Jedi Knight. That is not just Star Wars that played here.
No, I know. James Bond.
Talk like William Shatner or the Imitation.
Was that the same guy who kind of looked like Duke Nukem?
You think of Ray Tracer?
Yeah.
But no, it's like there's other references and Easter eggs to other forms of media, like Mortal Kombat and Dungeons and Dragons and James Bond as well, to name a couple.
The Gateway Command. They build their own Stargate.
Yeah, it's literally almost the exact same as a Stargate.
I have my own headcanon that the mainframe computer is the one at the STC. You ain't stopping me from that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, this kind of stuff, I wish kids nowadays were watching this kind of stuff more, and people were using this type of CGI, like what they call dated kind,
Yeah, because
to make it good.
we were talking about this before the series started. It's like I said before, CGI snobs is kind of who they want to market to now. I get if you don't like the older stuff, they're weird. We each have our comfort zone, but I think the way we're demanding high effects, high graphics is killing the way we look at art and stories and the way the corporations sell it to us. I've said that before. I'll keep saying it over and over.
There is such a thing as getting too much quality as well. It's not just about quantity. Like quality can ruin something too.
I mean, shouldn't story and character matter the most? And this did, like especially season 3. But then the effects today would be like low bar.
Yeah. But the effects are perfect. Like we said before at the beginning, like it's a computer world. They're supposed to be these little sprites that are living in a network system. It's perfect.
Binomes are ones and zeros, so those would be the actual hard numbers, number crunching.
Yep.
Yeah, I do like the CGI too. It kind of reminds me of the CG and like it's a better version of CG than we see in those like PS1 games,
That will.
In fact, sometimes the CG looks almost like a Sega Dreamcast game.
Speaking of which, I actually found out Reboot had its own PS1 game.
Yeah, and they got around the censorship a little there, but still, season 3 just opens out the gates with a cliffhanger end to which this is not the same show because they land in the Evil Dead game and this eye pops out, foreshadowing, and then they like, what kind of sick creature would love this kind of game? They look at the screen, they kind of scowl.
By the way, you know what I wish I got to see more of in the show? I kind of wish we got to see Bob's apartment a little more, because it's neat how... I love how his room's set up, and the way his bed looks.
Yeah.
Like, it's interesting how they sleep in there.
And he lives with Mike the TV.
Oh god, Mike. He was a handful.
What did they run you from the town of downtown Mayfair? For only $99.99.
Oh yeah, speaking of Mike, one of my favorite episodes from season 1 was the one where they went into the D&D style game.
Yeah, that's near the end, so it's one of the better ones. They were getting more grasp on what they wanted to do.
Yeah, the games were probably my favorite part about this show. Like, because you never know what one you're going to get. You're going to get a Wild West, you're going to get a D&D the next, and then you're going to get a Mad Max style one.
Oh, yes, I was just about to bring the Mad Max one. That was probably one of my favorites.
You know what the most epic game was? The one where they crossed over. Like the Jurassic Park and the War game crossover.
Cyborg T-Rex, yes. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
I was kind of freaked out by that part because I'm like, I didn't think games could do that. Well, then again, they can't in real life, but...
A cyborg T-Rex, you can't get any more 90s than that. I mean, like, Turok the Dinosaur Hunter.
Plus, it's funny when Megabyte is sinking in the tar pit, and then he's like, Guardian, I need your help.
Yeah,
because you never would have expected him to ask Bob for help on anything like that.
Yeah, and he pays it back like instantly because he doesn't want to be in his debt, and he isn't.
Oh, speaking of Megabyte, ooh, that guy, he's like one of the best, like, classic mustache twirling villains, and
with a refined voice. And
yes,
Tony J.
Yes,
he did an awesome job, but God rest his soul. He was great. I just wish he was still alive today, though.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Me too.
I kind of think if he was, they would have hired him for Filoni's Clone Wars. But I'm just saying, I think they would have.
I could see that,
I don't know what they would have put him in, though.
They could have made him Dooku.
Yeah. One of the fun things I think is, if you look at it this way, Megabyte was still running for that Cyborg T-Rex, but in Season 3, Matrix just topples it over. I mean, sure, he surprised it, but at the same time, it's just he actually out-muscled Megabyte, dented his chest, and he just come of age. I feel like this is a show where they keep the power levels consistent. They remove Bob from Final Battle because he's grown too powerful. He just owned them all in a heartbeat, you know?
Yeah. He merged with his pet. What is that thing again? The Guardian tool, right?
Tool.
Yeah, the Glitch, his pet, as they call it.
It was like a Green Lantern powering. In season 4, there's plenty others, and they've all left because Damon has infected the whole Guardian Collective.
Yeah. Speaking of which, there's one villain that I always thought was creepy as shit, and I think you guys know who it is.
Oh, yes.
Hexadecimal.
Oh, she's like a mix of like Harley Quinn and
Joker.
The Kabuki twins.
Ugh.
Like, because her face, it looks like a Kabuki mask, and the way she changes her emotions and expressions are just like, damn.
And you finally get to see what's under the mask when she corrupts the paint program.
Yeah.
And you know, in the show, her and Megabyte are like siblings.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they used
so there's
to
like
be
this whole sibling rivalry thing.
They used to be one being known as Gigabyte, and then some unknown explosion happened, and they split in half.
Yeah.
You know, whereas like Megabyte, he's very more refined and wants control. Like Hexadecimal, she's just like pure chaos and anarchy.
You can think of it this way: that while she can't infect, she can just destroy and bulldoze. While he infects hardware and material and military mechanics, he's Lex Luthor. While she's Mr. Mixoplex.
Also, what's with Megabyte having to detach himself from his own legs? I always found that to be unnecessary.
Even Matrix caught attention to it. Pass me my legs over there.
Yink, yink. I just love how he sits in that chair too. He's just like a giant orb. Like his lower half is just a giant ball, and then he's just flailing around in that rotating chair.
But think about how hardcore the last season 3, for those who might not know, is they divide it into story arcs. They kind of did that at the end of season 2 because the censorship was lessened because they were going to be sold out, so they didn't care. But then there's 4 episodes that constitute an arc, and there's 4 arcs in season 3. There's one that's in mainframe, and then there's 4 where they're roaming around the net, and then they head into the web, and then back to mainframe. And it's like, you gotta consider this kid that we've been following is having this responsibility shoved onto him, and then he loses the game to Satan, no less. Satan gets his eyes sliced down, a brutal finishing move, and they just have to leave with the game. They're marooned blocked, and he comes home just screaming for revenge. He doesn't even care about inflicting serious damage on his enemy, slicing open his chest.
The user just had to choose the more powerful Mortal Kombat style character.
Yeah. See, with headcanon, because I like to think this is SGC, imagine who that user is. It has to be Teal'c. Oh, it's excellent.
Yeah.
Right?
That would be funny.
Season 3, the Firewall episode, that had the best intro.
Yeah.
Like, just the fact that, because that was actually a reference to the opening of James Bond's Goldfinger and Goldeneye.
Yeah, but it's also it's like sexy in a way they wouldn't do today. Not just for like men, women too. You know, it's just they kind of that equal opportunity stuff.
Yes, and they gave Dot 2 breasts instead of 1.
Yeah, because the first 2 seasons due to censorship, she only had 1 in her chest. That sounds. So I have a question for you two. Not you've seen it all. Who's your favorite character?
That's difficult. I'd have to say it would be between, maybe between Bob and Hex.
Well, for female and male. Mine for female is Dot. Mine for male is Matrix. How I feel.
Yeah, I like Dot, and I do like Enzo Matrix too.
Yeah, Matrix is like,
I especially love it when his grown-up design where he looks like this like total edgy badass.
your friend called him a Chad. He is a Chad.
Yeah, I love how Bob gets those sick dreads at the later half of season 3.
Yes.
Oh yeah, when we see him again.
Also, what's with the weird yellow spots on his skin? Like, what's the deal with that?
he's been partially degraded in the web for being there for so long. Not as
I
bad
thought-
as like the web writers, but
I was gonna say, I thought those were body tattoos.
nah, he was just a little degraded. Not enough to be like them, but just a little. He was still in that pod thing made about youth, in which he didn't even have it when he was thrown in there. Whoops. Sucks to be him.
Mhm.
So the music in this series is just like so good.
Yeah, the one from Bab Bob was epic.
There's a funny story there is that the censors rejected that, even though they have sent back an angry letter saying, we made this specifically for you with them in mind, and then they just dropped the complaints. That's kind of funny. It's where they corrupted the principal office with a game.
Hmm.
And
Why do they
Fong,
call
how often do we see Fong in a game? Like, never.
Only once, actually, and that was to kind of show Dot what she was doing to herself.
Yeah, that was in season 1.
Yeah. By the way, why do they call the main hub the principal office?
I think it's because of principal, as in chief, primary, the topmost, prime.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, and also what's weird is that Dot, Bob, and Enzo are the only ones. They're the only sprites in mainframe, which is along with Fong.
Yeah, because the others were destroyed in the Twin City disaster that Bob hints at.
Yeah, which
I do accept it with some things that season 4 is canon, but because of how it ends and the second leg, My Two Bobs, I just think the good count outweigh the bad. Mostly like the stuff with Damon Rising, but there's a few issues there too. It's just way too fast.
didn't they figure out a cure for nullification or no?
Never did. Like, oh,
Wow.
in my Two Bobs, they actually reference episode 1. They have some kind of pod racing stuff with young Enzo, and I'm like, oh, I see what that is.
Yeah, because I know in the first episode they did an X-Wing game.
Yeah.
You guys remember when Bob would always say, like, no one knows for sure, but I intend to find out. But they never do.
Yes.
He never does.
Yeah, that was a little confusing. Like, what is he trying to find out? Who are the users? That's what I want to. That's one question I've always had. Like, who are they?
I've seen this is supposed to be like based on Tron for kids, but other stuff for kids. So saw the Stargate thing, but in truth, I've seen a few theories that say this could be just a world from users who are like nothing like us, like on the level of Cthulhu, which could be even. But
Yeah.
So they also want to bring up for Iron is the whole deal where Mouse whips up a PlayStation controller. Remember that?
Yeah.
It is. They did a whole episode with like X-Files. Trust.
Plus, it's cool how time works in the games as well. Like you age faster when you're in the games.
Yeah, it's like
warping the press somehow. Because I think only a year passed or a few months when Enzo, Andrea, and Frisket went in, didn't they?
Well, a short time has to be, given the flashbacks when they returned.
Oh yeah. Also, you know who stole the show at times? Good old Hack and Slash. I don't. Yeah, I love their dialogue. They're just like yapping at each other, just being the two twins that just have to blame each other for one another's problems.
Season 3 put a great spin on them. Megaman's gonna be bad. Oh, it's new. I miss Bob. Bob always stopped us if we could do anything really bad. Now no one does.
Honestly, I would have missed Bob too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were never cut out for Mega.
He always mistreated them and would basically force them to do his dirty work and basically bitch slap hexadecimal whenever he felt like it and just watch from his limo. Speaking of which, that's actually a nice limo Megabyte has.
You could tell we're in a new era of the show when they want to breach the file for everything. He says he wants them to take point. And he just has no intention of fixing them, bringing them back, whatever. Let them rot.
Yep. And then Fong finds them, reprograms them. Boom. They're taking care of Dot, and then...
Two shout-outs. Sailor Bynum and Indiana Bynum. from the running from the 8-ball.
Oh yeah,
It's probably gonna be better than Indy 5, I guarantee you.
yeah.
We'll
Oh
see what
yeah.
happens with that, too.
One other part I really love is when everybody's reunited in the principal office, and then when Enzo just tries to show Dot Bob is still alive, it just cuts to Mouse kissing him right across the face. And then the music is just like.
Like a record scratch. They got me
I love when she goes sugar and she has like her southern accent.
Yeah, is Mouse a sprite or what is she?
I think he has to be a sprite, but
Makes sense to me. Yep.
you know, but admit it though, for Mount that's as casual as a handshake. We saw what she did with Ray. That's more, So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
anything you want to say about this iron or reboot?
Ooh, what was I gonna say? There was something on my mind.
Well, Gigabyte maybe. Not.
Oh yes.
His face voice kind of looks like General Grievous, really.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I am become Gigabyte, destroyer of systems.
I wonder where the viruses even came from to begin with.
Like who's sending them? You know.
I pinned this down. If this is based on our contemporary world, which probably shouldn't be, but if it is, probably the early internet with the first 4 nodes of the ARPANET in 1999. That would kind of make sense. So the first computer virus would be, I think it's a Reaper or something based on a Scooby-Doo villain.
Huh.
Creeper, that's a creeper.
Oh yeah, I remember the creeper.
Yeah.
I think I heard of that.
Yeah, because until like the 90s, the biggest contractors or hubs for the internet, pre-internet, were militaries and universities. And that's when the concept of Reboot was invented. So it has like that mindset.
Hey, do you know if the series on DVD at all, or
Probably. One thing I want to say is that yet another ruined IP they've taken and they just what Ryan Kinnon would say, they bastardized it. They destroyed it.
Oh yeah, they
that.
did the reboot of Reboot.
Yeah, on Netflix. Which, let's face it, Netflix just sucks now. There's nothing good.
Yeah, I haven't renewed it. I'm not going to watch it. Well, not Netflix. What was I going to say? They haven't renewed it because I haven't watched the reboot. I'm not going to check that out.
Yeah, Bob only made like 1 appearance in that show, didn't he?
Forget the ratio for the trailer is horrible. 70,000 downvotes to 2.5K upvotes. That is bad. And
That is really awful.
There's worse ones, but it's bad. The worst one, the guy, even media people talking about it, is where they took a deliberate shot at the fans calling them fat neckbeard losers because they're just like, and mom said all this time in the basement was wasted because they showed the actual freaking user. And he's this fan of the show, has been waiting for it to come back, and they're showing him being like this loser. He's in his 40s, he's got a beard, and he's like overweight, and we're like, okay, no matter what the fans were saying, you took it too far.
Way too far.
Yes.
Very too far.
Honestly, if Reboot were to finish with a 5th or 6th season, you got to do it in a way that's respectable to the world building, the lore, and the series as a whole, basically.
Yeah, because the reboot itself, and not the show, the actual reboot, did not introduce like many of the later characters. They had Megabyte, they had Hex. Okay. Yeah, Bob, Dot, and Enzo, but they didn't have Matrix, who was the grunt version. The younger Enzo at the end is a copy. They didn't have Ray Tracer. They didn't have Mouse. They didn't have any of those guys. And it's like Gary Chalk, who voiced a lot of characters, has said a lot of stuff about it. It's like, it's not Reboot. That's the thing. It's not. And the graphics are just scary.
Yeah, Megabyte and Hexadecimal are allies. No, they're not. They hate each other.
They're like the Sith Triumvirate working together, basically, in a way.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just wondering what I will do to you when I am free of your little toy. You have Either the force that you try to control, chaos will always triumph over order. It is the way of things.
Also, is it just me or does Hexadecimal have a thing for BDSM?
Probably.
Oh, no.
No, you've seen how she reacts to. You heard what they said and how she reacts to pain.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I think she likes being tied up. Let us think about that.
Yeah, I just love Fong's reaction. He's like, "Oh, let us not think about that." Also, I love Fong's voice. It's just
The things
really
you guys may,
satisfying.
I want to say is things you guys may like. Personally, I think they should have explored the demon concept, made that the 8-parter instead of what they did after. You have 8 episodes, focus on that. You would have gotten them more time. I don't know what they were doing. Because one thing I like is they're focusing on this idea that after the virus scan at the end of season 3 and after getting an icon, a PID, she's turning into a sprite. So she can still control the nose, but she has no viral powers. That's like interesting, know what I mean? Like she's still kooky, eccentric, weird, but she's nicer. She's sane since Bob defragmented her mask. What do you think of that, you guys?
Yeah.
It was interesting, yeah.
Yeah. It's just the little things like it's just too fast. You don't have things in between to flush it out.
Yeah.
They parodied Austin Powers in the 4th season. Oh,
They
Kama,
did.
don't fail me now!
Wait, they actually parodied that?
Yeah, that's.
Oh my God, they did an Austin Powers reference.
Let me go get a picture of that.
I'm just a sucker for anything Austin Powers. So
Maybe you'll go see it, maybe not. I mean,
I need to see those movies all the way through.
season 3 was the perfect ending, though. I did not need it. I got pictures. Here they are, right here.
by the way, I just love how at the end, before Fong gives her the icon, she just comes by, like Hex just comes by and she's like, "I made cookies," and that just shows Air Doctor and who else?
Bunnyfoot.
It just shows them baked into cookies, and I don't even want to know what she did.
Ugh.
Yeah, look, I'm showing you guys as when you make this video, Iron, you could post this what the people are seeing. But there you go. It's clearly an Austin Powers parody.
Did you send it via Discord?
Yeah.
Well, I have Discord closed, so
Same.
Yeah, okay.
to save on bandwidth.
I could get one picture and put it up to show you guys. This is clearly Austin Powers. Let's see if I can share my screen.
Does it do the opening song as well?
It sounds like the music. Share screen. Share. Here we go. Guys can see this. Clearly, that is Austin Powers. Come on, guys. It's really.
Oh, behave.
Look at the glasses, the hair, and
Oh, behave, baby.
It's like I said. It's just they're parodying Austin Powers. That's the right time, but
Yeah.
that's hilarious.
It's kind of a cursed image.
Yeah.
One thing I don't like is like Bob was giving Matrix orders. We've never seen that before, and it's just little things. Or how he's being retconned into being this pacifist who wanted to reprogram viruses. I'm like, if you're gonna do that, you need a bit more breathing room, which they never had. That's why the fast pacing kind of kills it.
This show was totally worth a watch.
It
really
was. Like, I'm glad, Yukaphile showed me all that.
Same.
I mean, I can't recommend it to everyone, like gated fans, because some really will take issue with the graphics. They think, "Oh, I waited too long," even for older people. But for those who are willing to, some can see past it because the concept is inside computers. And for those who are jaded fans or younger fans or retro people, yeah, totally, it's definitely worth it. As though it.
Honestly, one thing I'd love to do with if I could ever get my future company off the ground, I would just do everything in like ancient animation styles, like that type of CGI hand drawn stuff.
I've literally seen amateur videos online, like R-rated type. Not gonna say what, want to spare you, but I've seen those types that are in the same format as these older types, these graphics, and they put the reboot to shame because it's like you don't need to go high graphics. The older fans aren't expecting that. Would the younger kids care about it? That they're not target audience.
Yeah. That's the thing. The target audience is the people who love this stuff, not the age demographic.
Yes. Something I talk about is like an actual reboot that's properly done in the future for like the world we live in now, which is all these interconnected stuff. A properly done one, not piggybacking off the old. Nothing more than stuff in the computer.
Yeah. And the villains that they're writing nowadays aren't even that memorable.
Let me show you how memorable this villain is. I'm going to share my screen for a while. I don't know if we can get this or not, or Hunter doesn't monetize his videos anyway, so let me share this screen again. Yeah, this is so cool.
All right, let's see it.
Let's have it.
Yes. There's like, yes.
Oh yeah, Andrea's trident. I forgot about that.
Matrix is gonna so cool.
No, you remember, boy, how I turned defeat into victory, how I left you with a dying system.
Mega breath that. Mega buff that.
I love him.
As he walks injured toward the portal.
Screws him over.
One last double cross, sugar.
This is why Mouse has got to be one of the best characters.
Yeah. Right into the web.
Tentacle porn.
Don't get them riled up about this.
Yeah, it's even worse. He's in the land of hentai.
Yeah, he went there.
It's just a joke. But yeah, you said they don't make those like that anymore. Refined, elegant, civilized. Boy, what he did to Grievous and Vader. If I ever heard, as in Ahsoka Ragdoll, Grievous and Vader, I just heard that.
Yeah, it's sort of like she has like force pushed Vader at once.
I mean, there you go. Where the power levels are all over the place, and I'm like, because in you, it's like, I was gonna say, John, that never canon, but in that they established quite clearly that you raise an invisible force bubble around yourself, so you can't be choked, pushed, whatever. It's just invisible by the will. So if you can hammer it away, then you can do that. But,
or like if you're not that strong, you have to actively concentrate to bring that defense up.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to concentrate to someone's just second nature. It is power levels. And then Freddie Prinze Jr., which is a Filoni acolyte, they keep calling themselves like, shit just fucking happens. That's why he sent his big meltdown a couple of years ago. And it's like, oh, geez, I mean, next one's Lucasfilm now, doesn't it?
Though what I will say is Filoni and his crew did do the Grand Inquisitor right. Like,
okay, but
yeah,
he was a very good villain in my opinion.
Yeah,
like,
it's just power levels are all over the map. If they were writing for Reboot, I hate to think it, they'd probably, I don't know, have Enzo be made into a girl and like take out everyone. Blitzbob wouldn't be the strongest. No.
Yeah. Oh well, that's not going to happen, and it never will. So,
have you seen the recent Aquaman trailer or the one for He-Man? It sounds really like Dave Filoni. Ooh, you would be! You turned this into a He-Man! It's like, oh my God, it's.
And don't give it the argument. It's for kids, man.
It's not unfair to say for us to judge it when you look at what we had as kids, at least from my generation. Yeah, you had the immature back then, like Nickelodeon. Oh, it's almost like kind of Filoni from Nickelodeon was a mistake. But we also had maturity cartoons. Batman the Animated Series. You had a lot of the other DC cartoons. You had Reboot. You had Gargoyles. You had all that stuff. And it's, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Sucks we have all these people with pronouns in their bio working for entertainment stuff nowadays.
Yeah.
It's like if you want to have a political message in something in art today, like be subtle. Don't be so ham-fisted in your face, you know?
Or just basically make fun of it like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia does and call the token girl a bird.
Yeah, Reboot is like the great equalizer. If it wasn't made with agendas.
No, really, you guys ever seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I've actually never seen it, so can't comment.
Yet there's one of the characters, D, they keep calling her a bird, which is funny as hell. I don't know why, but it's just great.
Another reboot fail, at least from the reboot of the reboot, which is Dot hid behind her brother when users came into mainframe. Can you see Dot herself doing that from the old stuff?
Wait, she did that in the reboot?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Wow, they ruined a good female character in that.
Ironic, isn't it?
By the way, who are those 4 people that are in live action apparently?
Those would be the users, yeah. And this is not hyperbole. It's not an exaggeration. It's not meant to be taken as anything but straight fact. I've literally seen better fan fiction written with the users going to virtual reality concept. I'm not joking. I know a good friend of mine wrote Virtual Man Adventures up on factfiction.net. I'd recommend it. Where, yeah, that is literally better than the reboot cartoon. Just the reboot of it. Better.
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah, it's
soon creativity will return. People may have given up on it, but I'm not going to.
It will someday, I know.
Yes, it's like Visas said when you were thought to be dead on Dantooine.
Yeah,
soon your ship will come, my master, and we will be there for you.
The real problem with something like Reboot is you kind of need the fans to do it because,
well, not
you
just
can say that for a lot of things.
It's not just the fans. You need people who are actually passionate and want to do this.
Yeah,
like they give it crap.
It's really run into in our own EU project, which is like you need someone in authority, and if they have less than sound agendas, they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Reboot was never like what we see with Star Wars now. It's like they could coast off the normie crowd because they're always going to fall for the traps and the bait and whatever. They're the marketing stunts. It's like a frenzy, like a madhouse, like a circus. They're always going to do that. You can at least find victory in a small way there, but for the most part, they've won because they have them, and we're not the target demographic. Something like Reboot, it was always very small. Take Star Trek Enterprise from 2005. They went from 12 million viewers at the start in season 1 to around 5 million at the end of season 1. And then at the end of season 2, they were down to 3 million. And something like Stargate Universe, which was at the tail end, like 2010, for the Stargate era, and they had 2.5 million viewers, and they lost 1 million in that same time frame. And that's not the numbers they're pulling in now. I mean, you know what I mean? It's just not.
Yeah. Hey, guys, I don't mean to cut this short, but I think I'm going to get going because, like I said, I got stuff I got to do.
Sure.
Well, it was good talking to you. Want to do this again sometime?
Sure.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed doing podcasts and discussions like this.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's just leave some final thoughts on Reboot for any of the audience and for any Jada fans out there. Oh, he's gone. Oh well.
Jedi Knight left, but we'll just give our thoughts real quick. Yeah, if you're want something that's really good, like 90s, like super 90s, and alternative to stuff today, Reboot's a good, fine alternative.
Yeah, if you can adapt to the graphics. Not everyone can, which is fine. I mean, everyone has their own place, but if you can, then I recommend it. If you like older video games, it's probably the test. If you like something like Rayman, The Great Escape, if you like that, you probably are going to be okay with these graphics.
I might be getting the N64 version of that game when I get back.
Ooh, yeah, so in summation, it was a childhood favorite of mine, and that was a lot of fun.
Yep,
Yeah.
would recommend it.
Any day. Definitely over what Filoni does.
So yeah, anyways, if you have any suggestions for anything, you know, in the future, you know, video reviews, whether it's Star Wars related or not, you know, let me know in the comments, and we'll see what we can do.
Later, guys.
Later.